Gormagat, Las Concorla, and good evening, Minister. First of all, I'd just like to thank both Ministers Donoghue and McGrath for their very positive engagement in the run-up to the budget. I very much valued their input, and I very much appreciate it as well. I'm just conscious of the limited time I have available this evening, so I'm going to focus exclusively on the security and defence aspects of Budget 2021. And I just have 5 points to make, really. 3 are quite positive, and just 2 points at the end, which are areas in need of significant improvement. The first point I'd like to raise is in relation to An Garda Síochána. And I very much welcome the increase in Garda numbers which are planned for next year. An extra 620 trainee Gardaí plus a big investment in the vehicle fleet for An Garda Síochána should make a big difference throughout the country. Law and order are massive issues in both regional and rural Ireland, and we very much need to invest to ensure that people feel safe in their homes and in their communities. Garda infrastructure still remains a big problem, however. Many of the barracks and the Garda stations were built by the British over 100 years ago. So we very much need to invest from a refurbishment and from a new build perspective all across the country. However, if I was to identify one particular infrastructural project which to me is above all else from a Garda Síochána's point of view, and that is our need for a Garda Síochána museum. The centenary of the formation of An Garda Síochána is in 2022, just over 18 months from now. And I think it's incredible that there is actually no national Garda Síochána museum, because I think the story of An Garda Síochána is the story of Ireland itself. And if you look at the long list of recipients of the Scott Medal for Bravery, or indeed the Roll of Honour for members of An Garda Síochána who have been killed on active duty, then I think we can all appreciate and recognise that we do need a permanent premises to honour their achievements and in their sacrifices. And I will basically look forward to progress this project over the next 12 months. The second point I'd like to raise is in relation to the National Cyber Security Centre, and I'm very encouraged and indeed reassured to see that it gets a significant mention in the Department of Communications budget estimates. I think this is an absolute critical agency, and I very much would like to thank Minister Eamon Ryan for his ongoing engagement in how to bolster our defences in this regard. So it's an essential service, and I think it needs to be very much resourced both from a tools and from a talent perspective. I think we can't take any shortcuts in this area, because we've seen what a biological virus can do to this country over the last 6 months. Let's not wait and see what an electronic virus can do. This agency is essential. It's needed to protect and safeguard our critical national infrastructure, like our national grid, our transport system and our health system. And I very much look forward to further progress from a budgeting perspective over the next 12 months from that point of view. The third point I'd like to raise is in relation to the defence sector and the defence budget. Now, I very much welcome the improvement in defence funding for 2021. It's an improvement of €32 million, or approximately 3%. And will it solve all the problems in the defence forces? Of course not. But does it continue a process of renewal that began over the summer? Yes, I certainly do believe so. But notwithstanding the improvement, we still have to remember that the defence spend is still 0.3% of GDP approximately, and that puts us at the very, very bottom of our EU partners in relation to defence spending. So incredibly, instead of investing in our own defence deterrent, we are freeloading, and we continue to freeload on the umbrella of security and defence that's provided by our EU partners, and that's going to have to change. Now, I don't think it's all doom and gloom. I think Minister Simon Coveney has a lot of projects in play, and I very much look forward to him announcing the membership of the Commission on the Future of Defence in the next 2 weeks, and I very much look forward to engaging with that body over the coming 12 months to address the infrastructural and well-known problems in our armed forces. I think also we have to be creative and imaginative in relation to how we address defence spending in this country. And I don't think we should look at it linearly, exclusively. And why should all the funding come exclusively through the Department of Defence channel? And I think we can be much more creative. For instance, why cannot the Department of Housing directly provide accommodation and housing services for our service families and our service personnel? Why can't the Department of Housing provide this facility in the Curragh camp, for instance? There's no reason why it can't. Take the Office of Public Works, for instance. It builds infrastructure for An Garda Síochána. Why can't the Office of Public Works use its budget to build defence infrastructure? Take the HSE, for instance. The Defence Forces provide a lot of physical support to the HSE. For instance, they're manning Lansdowne Road, the Aviva Stadium at the moment, the COVID hub there. So if the Defence Forces are providing physical supports for the Health Service, why can't the Health Service provide financial supports to the Defence Forces? Why not? The Village and Town Renewal Scheme run by the Department of Rural Affairs, and that was a scheme, a brilliant scheme, that was brought in to address dereliction. My question is, there's dereliction in military barracks all across the country, and dereliction is dereliction, whether it's inside the barrack walls or outside the barrack walls. And I think that fund can be tapped and utilised and mobilised to address dereliction in Defence Force establishments. The Department of Education, we need a new secondary school in the Curragh camp, for instance. There's 2 primary schools and a secondary school, and we need a new build in the Curragh camp. Why can't the Department of Education use its funding allocation to provide this service? And most importantly, we have a brand new government department now, the Department of Higher and Further Education, Research, Innovation and Science. Why can't money from that budget be funnelled either through Maynooth or through Carlow IT into the military college in the Curragh camp? I see no reason why it shouldn't take place. The military college is a university in its own right. It has international students, and basically because of its affiliations with Maynooth and with Carlow IT, it is in effect a satellite campus for both these third-level institutions. So I think we can be a little bit more creative in relation to how we address the funding deficit in our defence forces. The fourth point I'd like to raise is in relation to the Air Sea Rescue contract, and I do note from the transport budget estimates that 60 million, so 60 million, is allocated next year to provide this excellent service which the Coast Guard does provide, which is €5 million a month. It's an excellent service, but it's really, really expensive. And I understand in the next couple of months the Department of Transport will launch a tender for another 10-year contract for a private company to come in and fly helicopters for the Coast Guard. It seems incredible that approximately 700 million will be spent over a 10-year period and given to a private international contractor to provide this service. To me, our Coast Guard service should be a sovereign service, and I see no reason why the Air Corps could not be invested in to provide this service. Can you imagine if you spent €500 million or much less investing in the Air Corps, what that would do for its capability and what that would do to its sense of purpose? And I think that's something we should definitely look at. So to conclude, last Ceann Comhairle, I'm very mindful of the backdrop to this budget. We have 3 major threats, either here at the moment or on the horizon, and the 3 threats are the pandemic, the associated synchronised global recession, and of course the spectre of a hard Brexit just around the corner. And I very much agree with my good colleague, Deputy Kenny, that this is a wartime government. And by extension, this is a wartime budget. So despite all its imperfections, despite all its shortcomings, I'm going to support it on that basis. And I'm very happy to support this budget tonight during the votes. Thank you very much, Ceann Comhairle.